Live your life within the moment, and don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.
Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I hope everyone is keeping well. I'm doing fine on my side of the world. Today we are going to cover a phrasal verb, and that phrasal verb is makeup. Now I know what you're thinking, and it's not lipstick and it's not eyeshadow. Okay? So let's get into it and I will explain everything. So the reason why I chose makeup as our phrasal verb today is because a lot of my students get confused between the two common usages of makeup. There's also the noun makeup, which refers to something that you could put on your face to enhance your features, such as lipstick or eyeshadow. But that's not what we're talking about today because that's a noun. And I think most of you are familiar with that one. What I am referring to is makeup as a phrasal verb, and there are two main usages for this phrasal verb. So before we get into that, let's first look at the verb part of makeup. Not that I think that you don't know what the verb make means, but the thing about the verb make is the past tense of make is made, which is irregular. And sometimes my students forget that it is an irregular verb, and sometimes they make some mistakes. So I just want to take this opportunity to remind you that if you are using the phrasal verb make up in the future tense, which would be making up. If you're going to use it in a past tense, you would say made up. Let's get started with our first example, which is going to be like a story or something that is not necessarily true. It could be a straight out lie, which is obviously a bad thing. But sometimes we make things up in order to softly change the situation or not admit to someone or not make someone feel bad. So we do this quite often. We call this a white lie, and it's often meant to not be so harsh. Let's pretend that I am a student in high school. Now I can see everybody laughing because I know that that's really hard to do. But imagine that I had an assignment or I had some homework and I didn't get it finished. And I know that my teacher or maybe my classmates maybe were depending on me or wanting me to get that finished, and I might need to make up a story. Why do we do this? Because we often feel like we need an excuse of some kind, and we usually don't want to admit the truth that I was just sitting at home watching Netflix. Of course, I didn't have Netflix when I was in high school, so I can't use that excuse, but it could be an excuse. So I would make up a story. It's an invention. It's something that is not true. We sometimes usually do this very quickly. We ad lib or panic in the moment, and we might come up with a small little white lie in order to get ourselves out of trouble. So you could say we're making up a story, or we made up a story, or I need to make up a story, and you can use it in all three verb tenses. The second way that make up is used is in reference to maybe you've fallen behind. It could be in time, it could be in money, it could be making something for someone, and you would use makeup as a reference to almost like catch up. So imagine I owed a friend some money and maybe I didn't make a payment on time. And I might say to him, I will make up the payment next week. Or it could also be used like make it up to you, meaning that I need to replace what I've fallen behind in. So this one's a little bit harder to understand than my first example. So let me give you a few ways or a few more examples that you could use this one. Imagine I'm working at a construction site and I receive a phone call from a friend. He says, Jay, there's an emergency. You need to come home. So I say to my boss, look, I have to leave right now, but I will return later and I will make up the time, which means I will come back and replace the time that I missed in this moment. Or maybe I have a friend and he's invited me to his birthday party. And something comes up and I can't make it to the birthday party. And I call him on the phone and I say, hey, look, Mark, I'm really sorry. I cannot come to your birthday party, but I will make it up to you in the future, which means I will replace or spend some time with him in the future. All right. So I've given you a couple of examples. Hopefully you can tell the difference between the two examples, although we use make up in the same way, but with just two different types of references. So leave me a comment below. Maybe give me some examples and some sentences that I can help you with, and see if we can come up with some different situations or new situations that we could use this phrasal verb in. Okay? Thank you so much for watching the video, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.